Living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, 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 love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, living life is gangsta. Hey, hey, living life is gangsta. Hey, hey.
Hey y'all, happy Tuesday with the hallway. How is everybody doing today? And for those of you who don't know, I'm your girl Stae, and this is, what's your name?
Wallace Hall.
Wallace Hall, some dude. He been hanging around here for the longest time and just decided to jump on camera with me. But hey, it has been a minute since we have been on together. I'm sorry, my hair is stuck in my earring, but it is so nice to be back with Tuesday with the hallway to chit and chat with y'all. Please make sure when you come in, hit us with a thumbs up. We would appreciate it so much. And then drop us a hey, a hello in a comment so that we'll know that you're here. Also, if you're on Facebook, I appreciate you for being on Facebook, and you can feel free to stay on Facebook. I just want to let you know that if you want to make sure that you're communicating with us in real time and that we can see all your comments and everything, you might want to jump over to YouTube and come over there so that I can see everything, because all of the comments and everything from Facebook do not always pop up in a timely fashion, if at all, because there's a lot of times when I log out and I'm done, and then I'll see comments that I never even saw pop up. So I just want to let y'all know that. But hey, y'all, hey, I appreciate everybody for being here so much. I'm so super excited. Can y'all tell today has been a wonderfully productive day? What you got to say, baby? You want to say hi to the people? You ain't seen the people in a minute.
How y'all doing? It is good to be back on. It's good to be back in the States. It's good to be away from hurricanes. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. For any of y'all that follow us on a regular basis, you know that we just made it through Hurricane Burl safely. Hey, Lacey J, how are you, Lacey Pooh? Good to see you in the house. But yes, we made it through safely. We are home safe and sound. And this is, we have not been live together in weeks because we were on vacation. Plus we took, it's been about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Hey, Tamika, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. But we are back and ready to rock and roll. And so today we are talking about serial relationships, serial daters. Are you a serial relationship person? Are you a serial dater person? And so this was the live that we had planned when we were supposed to go live before vacation and all of that. And so Wallace gonna come in today talking about what we talking about today. I'm like, dude, you done had a couple of weeks to think about this topic.
I done slept a couple times.
Yeah, he like, I don't even remember. I heard you say something about it on your live yesterday, but I ain't remember. So we're going to talk about being a serial dater and a serial relationship person. And just to kind of get my definition of what that means is it's just someone who doesn't feel complete unless they're in a relationship. It's somebody who like maybe doesn't give their self time to exhale, time to breathe, time to heal if necessary, when bouncing from relationship to relationship. Like the only time they feel complete, the only time they feel whole is when they're in a relationship with someone. And then a serial dater in my book would be someone who is just constantly dating like different people all the time, but always dating and never really giving themselves the chance to maybe build a serious relationship, because they're always thinking the grass is greener. And so they're going to date somebody else and date somebody else. So what do you have to add to those definitions?
Just somebody being in a serial relationship. I've known a few people who are like that, who just don't like being alone. They have to be in a relationship. They have to be dating someone or something like that. And to me, that kind of sets you up for a lot of heartbreak, a lot of unnecessary time spent, unnecessary energy spent on people that don't deserve you, you know. And I think a lot of times people are just doing that. And so you have to be in a relationship. You don't have to be in a relationship. There's nothing wrong with being by yourself, because I tell you like this, is the best way to say it. You can't.
Hey, lawn lifters.
You can't find the right person for you if you got some other joker sitting there in your face, blocking all the dudes, as the men or women as possible, looking for someone like you. And that's what you got to be careful of, not blocking that blessing.
And so for me too, my question would be someone who is a serial relationship person. Is there like a time frame where it's a serial relationship? Like, because what I hate to see with most serial, like to me, that's why there's a difference between serial daters and serial relationship. Like serial daters, I feel like, again, don't even really let the relationship develop because they're constantly looking for what's better or, you know, what's cuter or, you know, whatever the case may be. Where
so they just more or less, you think they're just more or less into the flavor of the day then?
Right. And a serial relationship people, like I've known people who I would consider serial relationship people where they can stay in a relationship for a decade. But as soon as that relationship, or if that relationship breaks up, it's not necessarily that they need that relationship back so much, but they'll end up in another serious relationship just like that. Like they'll meet somebody, go out and be like, oh, that's the one.
Well, that's those people that's responding to what they call the rebound people, you know, just constantly bouncing from relationship to relationship. So the relationship's over, you know, the first date, you're all in love and y'all finna, do what y'all do and y'all finna be locked in for life. Yeah. I almost said something else, but y'all are locked in and y'all gonna do that. So no, that's kind of what I consider serial relationship. Serial dater to me, like I said, just someone who likes to date people. That's all they want. They're not really looking for a serious relationship. They're just looking to date people, just constantly dating people. And that's what they're more.
But I think some serial daters wouldn't mind being in a relationship, but they have like a fear of commitment.
Yeah,
because they're always afraid of, is this really the person?
Because to me, like I said, serial relationship is someone who always wants to be in a relationship. They can't be alone. So they have to be, as soon as one relationship is over, they're quickly into another, like you said, serious relationship. So that's what you got to go. Hey, J3.
But you also mentioned the rebound part of it. And to me, you can rebound and have a rebound relationship, but not necessarily be a serial relationship person, because sometimes people are in a relationship.
Becomes that relationship. That rebound relationship becomes that serious relationship.
See, the rebound relationships to me never really last. Like I feel like if you're in a long-term relationship and you break up and you get the rebound person, that's just the first person you kind of get your feet wet with, but not necessarily another relationship. Because I know people who have been in long-term relationships and then they jump right into the rebound, but the rebound usually doesn't last, and then they can be single for a while.
Well, I know people who had multiple relationships during the year and they are never
during the year
and they are never single.
So what would you say? How many relationships would be too many in 1 year?
How many?
Yeah, like if somebody was in 4 serious relationships in 1 year as opposed to 2 serious relationships, like is there a number? Like, you know, people
they changing partners every 3 months. One
yeah, like they meet somebody and they get to know them for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, then all of a sudden we're exclusive.
Well, I guess we need to find what's serious is one of the things that needs to happen with that, because
what serial?
Serious. What is it?
Well, serious meaning that, okay, so I meet somebody and
because people can sleep together and not be in a serious relationship.
I didn't even mention that.
Well, I'm sure that's why I said we got to define serious.
Okay, so that's what
body counts. There you go.
Okay, body counts is different to me than dating or relationship, right? Because you have some people who will do one night stands and not even know people's names and get that body count up. But then there's other people who have high body counts because they thought they were in serious relationships. And that's what I was going to say. And I can, just speak from people who I've known where, you meet somebody and you date for a little while. I'm just going to throw some time frames out there, but say you meet somebody and you're kind of dating around for a month or so and you see each other a couple of times a week, you're talking on the phone and texting every day. And so after a month or so, you decide that you're going to be exclusive. We're only going to date one another. And so you do that for say, 3 or 4 months. And in that time you end up sleeping together, because we're talking about grown folks making their own decisions. But when you slept together and whatever, you thought you were in a seriously committed relationship. You weren't seeing anybody else. You dated for a month and then you end up being in a serious relationship for 3 to 4 months. And so you slept together during that time period, but then something ends up happening at the end of that 4th month, beginning of that 5th month, what have you. And now you realize this is not my forever person and you break up.
Well, that's what you
But then you meet somebody else and the same cycle happens and then you sleep with them. Some people's body counts can go high, but it's not necessarily because they was hoeing. It's because every time they thought they was in a serious relationship.
Okay, well, when we first started out this question, it was how many relationships you consider
I know, but then body counts came up.
Body count, that's a whole nother ball game there, because people can have a lot of high body counts, and like you said, and like we always say,
but body counts can rack up.
But not because, well,
even if
like this. I know some people that got married just so they could sleep together, because they're religious.
Who does that in the
their religious
belief,
their religious beliefs.
I ain't know nobody still had them guys.
Them believe in shacking.
Religious belief. Ain't nobody thinking that no tail is worth getting married just to.
Yeah, people do that.
And they really ain't want to get married.
Well, they been dating for a while. And they figured, hey, I've been holding out this long. The only way we can set this thing off right. If we go ahead and do this.
You say was a lie I told about getting married. What? What does that mean, long lifter?
What was a lie?
Just got married to sleep together. No, I don't think that that's true. But what I'm saying is, I think people put too much on body counts. Like if you are in your 40s and 50s, even 30s, and getting married, I just don't think that talking about body counts even matters, because body counts now, if you got, and I don't even want to be judgmental, but I believe the older you get, the more slack you should get for that, because you can have what's considered a high number, but every one of them numbers you thought you was in a relationship.
Well, how many?
Is we doing a body count type?
Yeah, I don't know how this started down this road, but so what are we referring this to in a year's time? How many serious relationships can you have? I mean, are you changing relationships every other week?
No, I think in a year's time you can have 4 serious relationships.
So 1 a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're, you
shouldn't.
I think if you have 4 serious relationships in a year, you probably need to back off of relationships and do some self-evaluation.
So your body count is 4 per year. What you saying?
I'm saying it could be, and it could be very innocent, is all I'm saying.
Very innocent.
Yeah, because a lot of people equate body count to hoeing, where I'm saying body count could just be the not knowing.
The line ain't too thick.
No, it could just be the not knowing. Look, I thought that was the one.
Those dots are kind of connected. So
no. Because if you are
connected with a dotted line,
and this is how I'm gonna
dotted line.
No, this is how I'm gonna make this all make sense for serial dater. Iola boundaries, Iola, Steve Harvey. Oh my gosh. But no, this is how I'm gonna make it all make sense. A serial relationship person could definitely get an innocent high.
So what you call a serial sleeper arounder then?
A hoe.
Okay.
But that means because that's your only intention. So I'm saying if you have a high body count, and because that was your only intention was to sleep around.
I don't like the direction this is going, because I know where this is kind of going, the road this is on to go to. So
I'm not going to say nothing about you.
It's not about me. It ain't about me.
Your secrets are
that ain't about me. I'm just trying to know what we talking about.
Then why are you scared? Why are you scared?
Because this is inviting a whole nother
topic
into the conversation.
Because a serial dater can get a high body count and not be somebody who just slept around. It's just that every time they turn around, they're in a relationship.
Okay, we're gonna kind of agree to disagree on that one, but go ahead.
Well, I don't know, because I think that you can end up in 4 serious relationships in a year once you get to be older. Now, again, do I think that's healthy?
You can end up in a depending on how things are, because we've known people talking about people who on the first date, they talking about how many kids they're gonna have and what the wedding gonna be like, and
it's
the place gonna be rented.
People pop up on Facebook introducing their new spouse, and we thought they were still married to Craig.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Miss T, how are you?
You talking about 1 a quarter? I'm saying it can happen more frequently than that. So
right, I mean, we know people who have been married 3 times since we've been married.
Yeah.
For these 10 years.
Right.
So would that be a serial relationship person?
Yeah, I'm just saying a serial relationship with somebody who just can't be alone. That's my definition of serial relationship. Someone who just can't be alone.
And so what would be your
you have to have somebody say that's my man or that's my woman. That's what you have to say.
They only feel complete.
They can never be
with somebody else.
They only feel complete. They can't just be by themselves.
But do they get a pass on their body count?
Oh, from me?
From you? Well, I hope
how you
see, I almost said the word.
However you get down is how you get down. It ain't my
But
business.
Is that how you get down if you thought you were in a serious
relationship? Why are we
relationship?
going that direction with this? if that's how you get down,
I just want
and
to
you want
give
your
the
body
people,
count,
hey, Jamie, how are you?
and you're trying to put some more miles on the odometer, that's you. I mean,
I'm just saying.
I don't have no
I'm
issue
just saying,
with
y'all,
that.
I put the link in the chat. If anybody wants to chime in on this serial dater, serial relationship,
Well, that
this
is somebody who likes
body count, like, you know, we gotta.
That means like saying you ain't gotta be in a relationship to do that. So that's why I say that's not even necessarily the same thing. Some people just friendly.
That's beyond friendly. But
some people like Bobby Brown say he just spread his love around. So that's what some people do.
Oh my gosh. But what would be the signs?
Sowing the royal oats.
What would be the signs that you're a serial relationship person? Because if you're because here's me. I don't consider a person a serial relationship person or somebody who just can't be alone if they've given a lot of time to a relationship and it just wasn't right. And they break up with that person and happen to get right into a relationship with another person. That's not necessarily serial.
That's responding on the rebound. It depends on how many times you do it. Like a serial killer, killing one person.
We probably should have rehearsed it.
Yeah, we should have. Killing one person don't make you a serial killer. It's a matter of how many people you kill. That's what makes you a serial killer. So how many relationships you get in, that's what's going to determine if you're a serial relationship person. Because you having 1, 2, 3 relationships a year, it doesn't make you serial.
Does every person that you date right after you broke up with somebody else mean that that's the rebound person? Is there a
Depends on how soon.
Why does it depend on how soon?
If I break up with somebody, if you break up with somebody today and you in a relationship tomorrow, you in a relationship where y'all moving in and picking out China and stuff, that's kind of quick.
But
especially if it's a relationship you've been in for 2-3 months or a year.
I disagree because
that's not a rebound. What is a rebound?
Because okay, so do rebound relationships last?
Some do. I've seen a couple that lasted for a good little while.
I just don't know why.
Because with some of those rebound relationships were actually kind of going on while they was in that other relationship.
So that's definitely not a rebound.
Right. I'm just saying.
Because to me, rebound means it's negative. Like rebound means that you really didn't put any thought into it. You really don't have any feelings. You're just doing something to do.
Rebound means I'm back out here in this situation. This is what I'm doing. So that's how we be in a relationship. Because people don't want to be alone. I mean, what do you consider rebound?
I consider rebound, like I said, you get out of one relationship and you go into, hey, Tampa, how are you? What's them eyes for, girl? You peeping in from the bushes? I consider rebound is when you break off a relationship. Rebounds can be planned or unplanned, right? So I know people who have been in relationships, they break up and their plan is, I'm just going to deal with the first person I meet. Like I'm just throwing caution to the wind. It don't matter. I'm not asking any questions.
But why would you do that?
Because some people just feel
that's not thinking rational, because some people are emotional, and that's what they try to do, and that's how rebound end up happening, because you're in an emotional state. So you grab the first person that comes around.
It's not necessarily fair to that person. Let me see. Jamie had probably got something to set us straight. I feel like serial dating in the same as multiple dating. Am I wrong?
Close. No, they're kind of in the same vein. They're a little different. That's
the same.
They're a little different, but it's kind of in the same vein.
Yes, ma'am. I am. I'm fine. And y'all, everyone in the chat, we are good. We are good. Just being our normal crazy selves. But yeah, that's what I think serial dating is too, Jamie. And again, there's nothing wrong with serial dating. My thing about anything when you're adults is just communicating your intentions with the people you're dating. Is there a learning curve for serial daters? Shouldn't boundaries or scriptures have examples for less problems in this topic? Well, scripture is going to have all of that. I mean, if we were paying attention as living our lives to everything in the scriptures, we wouldn't have nearly the issues that we have in discussing the stuff that we have. It's the lack of paying attention to the scriptures that gets us in all these messes, because we're not doing things the way, that they were supposed to be done, the way that they were written and done. And that's how we get a bunch of stuff. I'm eating eggs and cornbread and listening to eggs and cornbread. I never had that combination before, but I ain't going to knock it till I try it, because I like both things. Hey, Edna's World, how are you? How are you? But what I was saying is, thank you for being here too. But what I was saying is, I feel like people sometimes rebound kind of on purpose, because they feel like they've been in whatever relationship they were in for too long. They feel like maybe they've lost it. They really don't know how to date. And so they don't want to take it too seriously right off the bat. So they're just like, I'm going to get out here, and whoever I meet, I'm throwing caution to the wind, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to take it too seriously. This is going to be my rebound person. This is going to be the person to help me get over what I've been through, get back in the game. And so you can rebound intentionally. Now, is it necessarily fair to the person that you're rebounding with if you're not letting them know that basically you just to jump off to get me back in here? Like if things work out, great, but that's not my intention.
I'm here just to dust off the skills to see if I still got it.
Right. And I mean, you've never heard people say that. Hey, Nikki, how are you? Thank you for being here.
Hey, Nikki.
Yeah, that's what I think, that it can be that way. I mean, I know people who have done that, and Lawn Lifter says I'm right. So there you have it.
Lawn Lifter says you're right.
You're right. But everything I said, I'm sure. But you know what I mean? And so I don't necessarily think that, but on the flip side of that token, what I was going to say is I also do not think that every time you're in a relationship in a relatively short time after another relationship, that should be considered a rebound. Because sometimes I feel like we spend so much time with the wrong person and the right person was out there for us. And some people are blessed enough to find that right person shortly thereafter. Like neither one of us were divorced for years and years and years before we met each other. Neither one of us were single for years. We met our person. And so I think because
we weren't with anybody for a period of time before we got together, though.
We were married before we got together.
No, not straight. Not there were time periods in between.
There was, but I said it wasn't like a long time. It wasn't like either one of us were out here 5 years single.
Yeah, it wasn't like the next week.
It wasn't. But so that's what I'm saying. I think people put unrealistic time frames on something, just like when people were married and a spouse dies. If the other person is dating somebody within 6 months, everybody says, oh, that's too soon. That's too soon. Like, what is...
Yeah. See what Tampa's saying there?
That's why I'm not dating, still harboring feelings for my ex. I just don't have time.
Before you can move into another relationship, you have to be completely done with that.
But that's Tampa's situation, but that's not everybody. Some people are done with the relationship, babe, before they get out of it.
Okay. All right. I'll agree. We can agree to disagree with that.
How are we going to agree to disagree? I'm right. Sometimes you can stay in a relationship and be done with the relationship. Tampa is saying she's still harboring feelings, but there's some people who just couldn't wait to get out. They ain't got no feelings.
That's people who have moved on, you know, and Tampa, I hate to say it like this, but you know, does that person feel the same way? Your ex feel the same way, or has he moved on? So, you know, that some people are out of relationship before faster than the actual relationship.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So
but I mean, you've already moved on. That doesn't necessarily mean, hey, we need to be doing this.
Hey, Lisa, how are you? How are you? See, Lawn Lifters agreed with me again.
No, you know what I'm just agreeing to. I'm gonna need you to put it in there what you are agreeing
It's always with me. It's always with me. So that's what I'm saying. I just feel like we put unfair time limits on things, you know, just like I said, when it bothers me so much when people judge people for getting in relationships after the death of a spouse. I hate the first thing people want to say is, oh, well, they must have not been happy in the first place. Or they try to say, oh, they probably killed them. Or they say stuff like, oh, they was probably already messing with that person before. None of that stuff has to be true. The SOB moved on while we was dating.
That's
Girl, see, and that's
that
what I mean. And so Tampa, we need to talk about you harboring them feelings. You know, that's the coach stay in me. Like, girl, call me because I'm gonna help you get over that. But I just think that we put unfair time frames. I think we put unfair labels.
Next day is not an unfair time. Wait past the next day is not an unfair time frame. How many people are
dating somebody or doing something the next day?
Some people do. So that's what I'm saying. That's why we talk about the rebound stuff.
Somebody at the next day.
People ain't hard to find, especially if you're giving it up like that. People ain't hard to find.
And then you want to talk about while I'm talking about body counts because that's all you talk about. There is more to it.
Lawn Lifter started that. If you got to just pass it, you got to just pass it.
Let cooler heads prevail. Nikki said, learn from your mistakes, move on, don't waste time on the negativity. Yes, absolutely. Baby, I have heard all of those things say. Yeah, I mean, it depends. And I just think that all of that is unfair. Each person is different. And so if you have a spouse and they passed away and you move on, whether it takes you 6 months or 6 years, that's up to you. Who am I to judge? That doesn't mean that you didn't love that person. That doesn't mean you was messing with this other person before. What it means is You have decided to move on with your life, which is okay. That person's no longer here anymore. And so I hate when they do that. You still deserve to be happy, and there's no time frame on, okay, you can't be happy until it's been at least 3 years. Like, I think that's so unfair. Like, I know somebody who was in that situation,
So
and they were relatively young, and they ended up hooking back up with somebody they had dated in high school, and they had not seen that person since then. But people wanted to run their mouth. And I guess, to me, at the end of the day, it ain't none of your business. Let me see. See, another, I agree. See,
you don't know what they're
it's
to.
me. It's me. They all talking to me. My husband died 3.5 years ago, and I've gotten that a few times when I started looking into dating. Yeah, live your life, Edna. Live your life, Jamie. It's like people are always going to have something to say. And like I said, the bottom line is you are still living. You deserve to have a happy life. You gave everything that you could to your spouse. You know, you were there with them until the end. And it's just unfair, I feel like, when people try to put these expectations. And like I said, it ain't none of their business. It's really not.
No,
everybody move on will be different. Right. Do what makes you comfortable. My husband has been gone 4 years, and folks think I'm crazy for moving on. Girl, you
can I say my piece here?
Yeah, I'm just being friendly to the people. One more comment. It's scary dating nowadays. You really don't know what you're going to get. I just choose to be single, girl. Be careful. Be careful. No, but it is scary out there. All jokes aside. Go ahead. I'm not going to read that next.
All I'm saying is give yourself time to be completely in or done with that relationship. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you're talking about when you're breaking up.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. We're talking about rebounding and stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. There's no time frame on it. Whatever you're comfortable with is where you're comfortable with. All I'm saying is if you're moving on to another serious relationship and you still have feelings stuck in that other relationship, you're not going to be fair to the person you're being. We're not being fair to yourself, and you're not being fair to that person. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know how I got put into this time frame stuff. I'm just saying give yourself time to move on, or
because you said
in
time.
Certain situations,
and everybody's time is different,
because the body's going to demand, and the heart's going to grieve whether someone passes away or you end the relationship. So you got to give yourself time to grieve
every relationship. And that's what I'm saying. I think sometimes
whether it was tumultuous or not, there's been some very tumultuous relationship that ended, but still once upon a time, if you really did care about that person, and even though the relationship ended, there's going to be a quote mourning period where you have to move on from that. The heart is the heart. The heart is not just a.
So you're trying to say I don't have a heart because I ain't have to mourn my relationship. And to say my grandson just asked me today if I'm going to get another husband. Oh, that's sweet. He want to see you happy with a companion. Yes, that is too sweet. Let's see. Nikki said Tampa's always been crazy. When you are ready to move on, you will move on. Yeah. And I mean, and dating is scary. I have never really been a dater. And so for me, what's happened is I've always, I've always known whoever I dated for some other reason outside of dating. So whether it was a family friend, like one of my guy cousins' friends, or we went to school together or worked together, like Wallace and I, our sons were friends. So I have never dated an actual stranger. So, it's kind of, it is, I can imagine it would be scary. I definitely can imagine that would be scary. Let's see. Miss Christine, good evening. My husband left. Was the next day too soon? Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's what you're comfortable with. You moved on.
Oh, see now Nikki gonna put right Wallace.
There you go.
Let's see.
Nikki, the voice of reason right here. The voice of reason.
On letting go and moving on.
The voice of truth and reason right here. Truth and reason right here.
Anyway, and I get that too, Tampa. And that's what I'm saying. It's just in your own time.
Yeah.
Just don't let anybody give you a time.
No.
Like to me, Miss Christine said, whether it's tomorrow, because I literally could have dated the day after my divorce.
But the thing about it is once emotions come out of it, are you still feeling like, oh, this is what I should have done, or maybe I should have waited? Because you're emotional, and you can say all you want to, you're going to be emotional about it.
Let's see. J3 gonna have some wisdom. I can't speak on any of this. The woman has chains on me and won't let me go. And that's how it should be.
I hear you, J3, bro.
That's how it should be. That is how it should be. But I just feel like, all of it is to each his own. And the number one thing is being secure and comfortable and confident in who you are. So however long that takes for you to move on, however long it takes for you to heal, get healthy, get over, just do you. And even if somebody's telling you it's too soon, or you waiting too long.
Too what?
Too soon. I was trying not to burp.
Too soon.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to be ladylike, and then he want to call me out, so I should have just said, but you know, you just need to make sure that you're doing things in your own time. But I don't recommend the issue that I have with serial dating is I've had people who say to me, coaching clients who have said to me, I just don't like being by myself. That is a problem. Not liking to be by yourself is not a reason to be in a relationship. I will tell anybody, before you get into a relationship, you need to be your own best friend, your own best company. You need to be comfortable in the skin that you're in, loving yourself explicitly and all of that. And then whoever comes into your life needs to be able to enhance that.
That's how you can end up putting more miles on the odometer. And you're like, man, I didn't waste some miles. I should have held on to those. That's kind of what happens.
And then he want to ask why we keep talking about body counts. But I also feel like at a certain age, I would agree that I was emotional. I was as happy as I could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, when you realize that a relationship wasn't right, and sometimes you bless you, puppy, you know, when you get out of that relationship, all you can do, you're ready to get into another relationship, because all that relationship taught you is what not to do, right? So you're ready for another relationship. Some people have already started the healing process, have already started the exit process before it was official.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's just certain emotional events and things that you just got to be thinking with a clearer head, and got to get emotions out of it, because there's a lot of people that made some decisions caught up in emotional decisions and things that they shouldn't have done. And when cooler heads prevail or their mind is clear, they're like, oh, this was not a good decision.
Right. But it takes the good and the bad experiences. I'm working on stepping out of my box and find out what makes me happy. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's doing that self-work. That's the most important. It's not about time frames. It's not about how many people. It's not about the length of the relationships. It's about doing that self-work.
How many people what?
How many people you date? See, you want to keep bringing about.
No, I'm just trying to figure out. I just want some clarity. It doesn't
matter how many people.
The Bible says I always get an understanding. I'm just trying to get an understanding. How many people what? That's all. Okay, but
how many people anything? It doesn't matter. You have to be comfortable with it, because, speaking of the Bible, the only people you have to answer to is yourself and the Lord. And so whatever you're doing, if you're comfortable with the time you're taking, if you're comfortable with the amount of people that you date, if you're comfortable with being by yourself, whatever, that is what matters. The most important thing is being good with you. And I think that's the piece that a lot of people miss. And so it's always a red flag with me. I mean, I've had people say to me, like, I just don't feel like I have anything to offer unless I'm in a relationship. I've had people say that to me. Yeah. I feel worthless unless I'm in a relationship. I need somebody to
I've talked to people. I've counseled people.
I want to stop being still and start traveling and living. Your traveling is so amazing. It just opens your eyes to so many different things. And I tell people, travel. I don't care if it's traveling from your neighborhood to just downtown or just traveling to the next state over. Traveling is good. Wallace always says, put your eyes on something different. But if you have the opportunity to travel outside of the country, oh my goodness,
But I'll tell you, do this. Just type in log cabins. Type in something like that, and
log
cabin that you can get your eyes out there in the country. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm pretty sure J3 agreed me on this. Being out in the country living, the trees, the fresh air and stuff like that, ain't nothing like it. So if you can just type in log cabins and get away, the nearest log cabin campsite to you, can go rent a cabin, go out there and just spend the weekend by yourself, just getting to know you, God, and nature. And I tell you, that'll give you a whole new perspective on a lot of stuff, because now you got some fresh air and your mind is clear. Ain't nothing like the country. That's coming from a country boy.
All right, Jethro Bodine. Thank you for that commercial break.
She was city till she met the country boy. I'll tell you that.
That is true. I appreciate my country boy. But what do you suggest that people do to J3 gave you an amen? What do you suggest that people do to figure out themselves in between relationships besides just time? Because to me, time is just time. You have to do something with the time.
Time is the biggest thing. Time, like I said, just get alone, just think about it. You want to write stuff down, write and make notes to yourself about what you're feeling, why you're feeling certain things. Talk your way through certain stuff. Type in a little house on the yeah. Hey, that's something to do. But just spend time. I say get you a notepad, just write down how you feel.
So journaling
and things like that. And then once it's done, you can tear it up, you can burn it. You can throw it in the trash, do it, but at least you did get it out. And what happens with a lot of people is they keep so much stuff inside that at any time you become a walk around a powder keg, and then something triggers you and you blow up on somebody, and it's not even about them. That's why I always say it's so key to give yourself time.
Bleeding on people who didn't cut you.
Bleeding on people who didn't cut you. Hurt people. So you got to be careful with that. And that's why I say when those times, why you need time to deal with certain things, and so you can be fair to yourself and then be fair to your prospective suitor.
When you say that, see, that means like you're definitely breaking it up between the men and women. But I think both.
I said suitor. You could be man or woman.
Women should not be suitors.
What?
I was not a suitor.
Your perspectives.
Yeah, so this is what I think. I always talk about ditching the list. Hey, Tim, how are you? I always talk about ditching the list because I think when we go into dating, and a part of what can make us serial daters or serial relationship people is because we have these lists. And so many times our lists are superficial, right? We want somebody who's a certain height, a certain, has a certain religious background, has a certain type of family dynamic. We want somebody who doesn't have any kids, or maybe only has, 2 kids, or somebody in a certain profession who makes a certain amount of money. And none of that stuff does a good relationship make. There are people who cannot check any of those boxes possibly and still be a wonderful mate. We never think about the things. What?
Read your creative list. There's some things on there. There are going to be some things I put like this. There are negotiables and there's non-negotiables.
Right. But I'm talking about
But you said any of those things. I'm like,
any of the things that I just mentioned.
Okay.
So what are the things that I mentioned that you feel like should be non-negotiables?
No, I'm just saying though, for is making a certain amount of money, doing something with them, trying to do something.
So you think that the money aspect of it should matter when you're there? Because again, we're talking to people
I'm not gonna say you got to be
certain age. I'm not talking to people in their 20s.
It depends on it. I can't even talk to it. It depends on what's going on at the time. All right. Now, I'm not saying you can't date somebody who just lost a job or just got laid off from a job they've been at for several years. I'm not saying that. You just found them at a low point in life, but that doesn't mean they're gonna, be at that point forever. So yeah, finances do come into it, really not. But it depends on how you're doing that. If you're making, if you're the one in the relationship making 6-7 figures or whatever you're making, and your finances look a lot different than somebody making, $15,000-$20,000 a year when you're dealing with somebody.
$15,000-$20,000 a year.
There are some people making $15,000-$20,000 a year.
But at our age. But all I'm saying is
people making $15,000-$20,000 a year.
What I've
seen people at our age at 7-11.
I just feel like it's about the character of the person. I feel like it's how much they care for you.
Right. That's why the things is more important.
What their integrity is, because once you get to be a certain age, you're probably thriving and taking care of yourself. I'm not saying pull somebody into your life that you have to completely support. But if you were supporting yourself before you met them and they're supporting you, they were supporting themselves before you met them, then I don't see why y'all can't build off of that. I just don't see that just because you may be this high-powered attorney, why you still can't have a relationship with the custodian at the elementary school.
Oh, that's who makes you happy. You're in a different income bracket. That's who makes you happy. That's who makes you happy.
And I just think sometimes we miss the mark when we're out here dating because we have these lists that are built on superficial things that none of those things are going to be what make us happy.
Well, that's different than the custodian at the local school versus the guy picking up cans to take and sell for aluminum. That's
selling plasma.
Yeah, that's a complete.
But that's not
situation.
what I said. I'm just talking about if that's the reason. But when I do think lists are important is when you break up with somebody. Think about that list you had and how many of those boxes that person checked. Now look where you are. So then you want to make a list of saying how many of those things really made you happy and how many of those things that didn't matter. Then you want to make a list of the things that you wish you would have done differently. That's when I think the list really makes sense, when you want to go back and evaluate. Because when you come into it with a list other than, I want somebody who respects me, I want someone of good integrity, I want someone who's like-minded, those are the things that matter. Because when you start chasing all those other things, you're not really knowing the content of that person. You're just knowing the superficial things that they can bring to the table as far as looks and finances and all of that. But that's not what you're dating.
Well, all those things do make a complete picture. That's what you got to remember. It's the complete picture. And there's more, there's big pieces, there's little pieces when you put the puzzle together. And some of those things are big pieces.
If I would have judged you by your outfits, where would we be now?
You'd be right here with me. If you judge me by my
outfits. Was not dating them Steve Harvey suits and
I only wore those on Sundays like that. I had business suits, I had the Steve Harveys, which were clean with the Gators.
That phone clip on your hip. If I would have judged you by that phone clip, where would we be now? Nowhere.
That would make you that would make you say, hey, he got that phone clip, but he making it work.
Clip Steve Harvey wearing dude would have been nowhere on my list. But look where we are.
Exactly.
Because I saw the potential, because I looked at your integrity.
What kind of list did you have if phone clip was
that's what I'm saying. It was not. It was not on my list. I would have, if anybody would have ever said, are you going to marry a man who wears a phone clip that's spin?
Your list is a little more serious than that.
That was serious shade. He already know. I mean, I'm just saying, none of that had to do with the kind of person. Your style was not my style.
Right.
But that had nothing to do with whether or not I was going to date you, because I knew I could change it. But what I couldn't change is your character. What I couldn't change was your personality. But I knew I could get you out of them suits and that phone clip. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying. What? I mean, but that's true. That's true. You can't judge a book by its cover. I didn't like your truck. I got you out of that.
Your mama told me you didn't like my truck. So,
I know, that's why I keep saying it.
And you said that wasn't
That's
true.
why I keep saying it, because you was like, why didn't you tell me you ain't like my truck? I'm like, you had a Suburban, or no, not a Suburban. What was it?
It's pretty much saying
a Yukon, whatever. Yeah, I'm like, why would I like that? I was driving a Navigator, a much nicer truck, but the same kind of thing. I mean, as long as we took my truck on dates, I was fine. I was fine. But no, I'm just saying.
You could have been all over this country, boy.
And it looked like it.
That Joker rolled everywhere. No, it looked brand new. That Joker rolled everywhere. I trust that boy, and I trusted your Navigator to get us there and get
whatever.
us back.
You ain't have no problem hopping in my Navigator. But I'm just saying, no, with all honesty and all seriousness, it's just that we need to start looking at our list, because a lot of times the relationship that we broke up from, the relationship, we crazy over here, the relationship that we're out of, we were probably using a faulty list. And we realized that.
Is it really? Because when you go into certain things, and like I say, in relationships, things change. People change, priorities change, stuff happens. So your list could have been a good list in the very beginning of it, but somewhere along the lines, there are some things that became more of a priority than what they were before. Because like I say, when you're young, you got certain priorities. And as you get older, you're like, wait a minute, my priorities and my look out in life has changed. Yeah, that's why I just let it go and move on, J3.
I'm right. I don't think
you're right, baby. You're right.
Whatever. But I know our priorities change, but I'm just saying, I would just like us to start making lists that are more about things that are less superficial.
Really, okay, if you have just a few things in your mind, you don't have to make a list of something like that.
Carol.
Just have a few things that needs to kind of check off, or things you need to be able to discuss.
Oh, I hope you feel better soon. That back pain ain't no joke. He gets back pain every once in a while, so I definitely get it.
Old football injury, or basketball injury, actually.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, and I know our priorities change, but I'm just saying, most of the time, people just aren't thinking about the things that are going to help a relationship sustain. Like, people overlook the red flags early on in a relationship. You want to be looking at how somebody communicates. What is their arguing style? Let me see. Farm, you should run a man hotline. Yeah, J3 got all the answers for the man. And I can run the women hotline because I'll be right. I know stuff. But I think that, what was I talking about?
I don't know.
The list. I was talking about the list. But I think some of the things that make us serial relationship people is we're chasing after the wrong stuff.
Well, like what I said, that's why the quote is you never have youth and wisdom at the same time. When you're young, there's certain things that matter, certain things you want to have.
Hey,
certain dreams you have and stuff like that. Then when you get older, you're like, hey, wait a minute, let me think some stuff up because I am getting older. So guess what? Those things that used to be important to me are not, like when you're young, you want to buy a car with rims and a big system in it. But as you get older, you're like, who am I trying to impress? I might as well just get what I like versus trying to get something to impress anybody else, and just things like that. So your things in life change as you get older. So your list is gonna change. But if you have a core list of things, someone is going to treat me right. Someone's going to be fair. Someone's about something. Someone has some substance to life. Those are things is just simple. Those don't stray from those.
Right. And the thing is, and realizing that if some of the other things that are more superficial aren't on the list, or he's not or she's not able to live up to some of those things, don't miss out on the most important things because he or she isn't tall enough or he or she doesn't make enough money. I just don't think that those.
What's interesting, you keep talking about this ain't tall enough because it's like the second or third time I heard you mention this. Because I remember your whole little thing when we first got together and you talking about the little dudes who roll up on you. You always talk about you got to be this tall to ride the ride.
Did you really just say that in public?
So
Did you really just say that in public?
It's funny you keep talking about don't worry about how tall they are. And I just remember how many dudes you told me that used to try to roll up on you. You would tell them no, not tall enough. So.
Wow.
So you're going to talk about my suits and my truck.
But really? You just said that in public, that you got to be this tall to ride the ride. How does that make me sound? I thought I told you that in confidence. Wow.
Oh,
well, I am a very tall woman.
I know.
And so height would probably always be on my list. I have to say that. True, my short legs now miss my uncool minivan. Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh, I have a minivan story. So crazy. But yeah, I did. Somebody needed to be over 6 foot for me to feel comfortable dating them because I also like to wear heels.
Yeah.
And so that is superficial. Because again, I give the advice.
So how many little short dudes with gold teeth in their mouth did you miss out on?
Yeah, and I could have. They probably would have been good they probably wouldn't be doing this to me right now. They probably wouldn't be doing this to me. You sound like a real one to me. They probably wouldn't be doing that. You heard Miss Christine. They probably wouldn't be doing this one to me. And like I said, I can't say there could have been some of those short guys who would have been great to me. I can't say they
sure,
wouldn't.
Dudes with a gold tooth and an 8-ball jacket.
I know for sure. See, you just gonna tell my whole story, right? Yes, it was a short dude with gold teeth and an 8-ball jacket.
You talking about my phone clip and my suits and my truck.
But I saw potential in you. I didn't see a lot of potential in Shorty Doo-Wop. Remember that's what they used to call
they were height deficient. They were height challenged.
Yes, I mean, and I'm a tall woman, so but I cannot say that that's not a superficial thing on my list because one of those shorter men could have been great with me. Hey there, Living Out Loud, the podcast, right? That was authentic as it gets. Everyone I dated was over 6 foot, but my husband was 5'3". Yeah, see, and that's what I mean. And so even though I did have that height requirement, I can't say that it wasn't superficial. Again, I give the advice, but I can't say I've always taken my own advice, or I can't even say that I knew then what I know now. But you should be glad that I didn't give Shorty Doo-Wop a chance and that you had the height requirement.
I was locked in when Shorty Doo-Wop came around, so.
Yeah, you were, but we weren't engaged or anything. I don't know what you mean by locked in. Vertically challenged, came with a flashy grill, right? Yes, very much so. Not gold teeth, gold teethuses. It was so funny. And then he had the nerve to be staying with, and that's another thing, staying with my neighbor. You staying with, not he wasn't my neighbor, but he was staying with. He was in between housing. So yeah,
he was just trying to find him a place to stay.
Y'all, he used to throw rocks at my window at night like I was Rapunzel. Wallace, I hope you had dinner already. Maybe eating ramen noodles. Yeah, he had dinner already because he had me out there working. My last meeting wasn't over until 6:30, and so I let him know he had to get something to eat because we had to come straight on the live, and I ate while I was out. So lucky him that he's already had his dinner because he just telling all my little business. But yeah, but I just think, like I said, I think the list is sometimes what keeps us in the serial dating. And I also
that's why I said everything on the list needs, I'm not saying everything, but majority of stuff on the list needs to be negotiable, or at least at least negotiable. That's the best way to put it.
We crazy. We are just crazy. Our life is a reality show. We always say somebody needs to be following us around the camera, and it's only us. We're like, we can't make this stuff up, but we laugh a lot, and I think that's something important to have on lists that I don't think people really think. But laughter is, I don't think that, and I'm sorry, I could definitely be wrong, but I just don't think you could have a strong, healthy, long-lasting, fulfilling relationship if y'all don't laugh more than anything. You have to be able to laugh. Like, we laugh all the time. We laugh. I mean, laughing is sometimes what breaks up some of the arguments. Like being able to laugh at each other. You arguing and you say something that's just stupid, something crazy, and the other person laughing. Instead of getting mad, you be laughing with them because you're like, oh, you caught that? Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, that's like, how I sound. Okay.
Yeah. Or when we imitate each other in arguments. Wallace do that all the time because I'll be arguing with him and I'll be like, yeah, you came in the room and you was like, well, you should have did. And he'll be like, oh, so that's how I sound now. And then I can't help but laugh because I'll be like, yeah, that's how you sound. And so you have to be able to laugh. I need everybody to put that on your list because laughing can get you through so many things. I mean, we have laughed through the anger. We have laughed through sadness.
Hurricane.
Yeah, we laughed through the hurricane. You can, laughter can really get you through a lot of stuff. I mean, we are straight up clowns. We always laughing. And I just think that that's so important. And to be honest with y'all, that's not anything that was ever on my list. I never thought about that. I never thought about somebody I can laugh with, not somebody I could be silly with, because believe it or not, and he will tell you by nature, that's not like, I'm not a comedic type of person. I don't really think about laughing all the time. Like I can sit there and watch stuff that everybody else thinks is hilarious and I will never even crack a smile. And so that's nothing that I realized that was important to me and nothing that I had. And now it's like one of the things that I cherish the most about our relationship. And I really can say that the fact that we have the ability to laugh together and to laugh at each other and just not take everything so seriously is one of the strong parts of our relationship. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you put those lists together, sometimes, guy had me put stuff on my list and I was questioning why it was on my list, but he had me put on there pretty hands and look what happened.
God had you put pretty hands on your list. Y'all know he said that's my most attractive feature is my hands.
We've been reminded it. Like several people heard that.
Oh my gosh. You see, that's me. I laugh at the most inappropriate times and he's no help because anything can happen, especially if we're somewhere and we see something, we're going to look at each other. See, you done got kicked out and the situation done got worse. Oh, wow. Oh Lord, Carol. But laughter will do it now. Okay, y'all, I got kicked out of yoga class twice in 1 week for laughing. So yeah. I've been kicked out of places for laughing, but you can get kicked out for way worse stuff. So I ain't mad because once I get going, and I'm a snorter, y'all, and that's what he really knows. He like that makes him feel good. He wears that as like a badge of honor. If he can make me snort, right? CJ3 even questioning that hands. It was on our show one day. One of the questions that was asked, what did he find the most attractive about me? And he said, my hands. So it's whatever. I mean, at least he ain't say nothing. That would have really been horrible. So, but laughter.
You don't want to date somebody with knuckles bigger than yours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, y'all. We're a little rusty.
Farm feet is a thing. What?
Farm feet? What is farm feet?
Hooves?
Is that people who just walk around in their bare feet all the time? Because that's me, but I got pretty feet. I got good feet and hands, y'all. I can be a feet and hand model, I guess. I missed it. Hello. Oh, hey, you
Taylor,
ain't missed it.
KC.
We on KC. Hey, boo. You ain't missed nothing, girl. What are farm feet, Carol? I need to know. I need to know. Oh my gosh. But yeah, because I walk around in my bare feet outside. Wallace be getting on me about that. He'd be like, oh, I thought you wasn't country. I guess. Pause here. Yeah, I think we might need a pause, but I don't even know why we pausing. But it sounds like, what'd you say? No, I was tagging his channel. Feet is a thing.
Oh.
What?
Oh, J3 Farm. Okay. I got you.
Oh, okay. I was so confused. I was very intrigued yet scared at the same time. I don't even know what we was talking about. Just don't be a serial dater. I'm happy to see you too. Yes, we're home, KC. We're home. But yeah, just don't be a serial dater, y'all. Make sure that you do your work to be healthy, happy, and whole. And you know what I always say. What? Okay, we're not talking about anything but these comments, but I bet those farm feet pictures
Well,
be out
just
there.
feet. Why they gotta specify farm feet?
Because it's people who walk around outside and they bare feet.
But farm feet, though, that's the whole deal.
Right, because where are you going to do that except for
feet pictures? I know feet pictures out there, definitely.
Yeah, because people got them feet fetishes and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you never know. You never know. But anyway, we need to get back on track or not back on track. I don't know. What y'all doing? Besides being crazy. So, Wallace, when you were dating, did you have a list?
Yeah, I had a list.
Okay, so.
Did you check everything off and I kind of threw the list away, so I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, because I came correct.
Yeah, I had what was it? I had 5 things. Five things. What was it? Can't be crazy. Be okay.
Can you define crazy? Well, I mean,
if I got to define it, then we may need to go revisit.
I mean, well, evidently,
I didn't have all the things I checked off, but it's 5 things, and you try to get majority. Many of those 5 things checked off as I could.
Okay,
and you checked off majority of those boxes.
Out of 5 things, I only checked off the majority.
That's all I needed to check off.
Well, I want to hear what the 5 things are. Have you ever shared this list with me?
Yeah, we talked about it in the very beginning.
Hey, Double Treble, how are you? So good to see you, my Mexico friend. How are you? I'm so super excited you're joining us today. Yes. Tim, if you're still in here, can you please drop, because I don't see Cece in here. She's my other moderator. Tim, I don't know if you're still in here, but if you're still in here, can you please drop Double Treble's link in for me so my good peeps can subscribe to the channel if they feel so inclined. And if he's not in here, we'll be sure to get it. But it's also linked in my last vlog as well. I was sure to link that. But yeah, so you can already share your 5 on your list. What were your 5 on your list?
I'm trying to remember what they were because I don't really. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
You ain't still working with a list no more, just in case.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I remember what they were.
Okay, so what were the 5 things on your list?
Had to be able to cook.
Okay, I can cook.
Not crazy.
Debatable.
Okay with money. Don't have to be great with money. Be okay with money.
Okay. What's that mean? Okay with money as far as the money I was bringing in, or just okay to manage the money?
Not be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Okay.
Thousands of dollars in debt.
Okay, so financially stable.
Mm-hmm. No God.
Oh, okay. No God. I have a relationship with God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that was it?
No, that was another one.
Oh, the other one. What's the other one? Good and bad.
Yeah.
What?
Since she put it out there like that, yeah.
What?
You're ready.
Because you sent it over for me to read it.
Oh, I just said
the actual movie is on Prime, a period piece with man being a serial dater with a list. Is that where we started tonight? I never heard of that movie.
No, I never heard of that.
I didn't know there was a movie. Yeah, we had came up with this before I took my break from doing my YouTube lives. But yeah, so that's a good thing that so Carol, you need to join us and tell us about this movie. You said it's a period piece. So yeah, I had never heard of. I'm not a movie person at all, but something like this, I would probably. What'd you say, Casey? You see, so you know what is good and bad. What? No, that's not what he said, Casey. He didn't say good and bad. My poor little naive little sister. Let me go grab the title. Y'all might enjoy it. Yeah, we'll watch it. We might watch it tonight. But no, Casey said, you know what's good and bad. My little sister is so naive. No, but we're not going back to Wallace's list. Just know I checked the boxes. Just know I checked the boxes.
Probably get no comments on that.
She left because I think I mumbled it enough where people didn't pick it up. Thank you, Lord. So, because I know J3 would have gave me a pause. But so men have their list too. But the funny thing is,
he's on.
Oh, see, so Nikki picked up.
See, Nikki, that's my girl right there.
No, but
oh, there you go. He did.
What, let me see, J3. How you know she getting bit out of it? Oh, yeah. He didn't either. I guess he could just tell by the way I use my walk. Right. Yeah. We are moving on from that. So as we see, men have lists as well, but their lists are way shorter than ours because I think that's pretty typical.
That's why I say men are simple. Women
yes,
are complicated.
Yes. Most men that I have talked to, my guy friends, Mr. Malcolm's list. Okay, y'all, we're gonna check that out. We might watch that tonight. You see KC. Oh, in bed. Yeah. This is a family show. But we're gonna check that out. But men's lists are much shorter, and most guys that, you know, because y'all know I had a lot of guy friends and they don't be thinking about all the stuff that we're thinking about. But I also think that's how when men know, they know. Now, there are men, of course, who are serial daters and serial relationship people, but they do it for a whole different reason, in my opinion. What happened?
KC. Dance
floor, you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, girl, you look good. Won't you? Yeah, that's what it is. Judy. Girl, you ain't slow. You just wholesome. That's why I love you. But yeah, the lists are a lot shorter, and it complicates things less because one thing I know for sure is no matter what, nobody's going to be able to check the boxes all the time. And I definitely believe in the 80-20 rule. Because nobody's going to be able to check all the boxes all the time. Nobody's going to be able to give you 100% all the time. You're not both going to be able to give 100% all the time. And so that 80-20 has to be there. And I think sometimes as women, and I'm sorry, but you know, I'm here to hold us accountable, call us out on certain things. I think sometimes we're looking for more off of our list than what we're able to provide because none of us are perfect, but we're looking for somebody to check all these boxes, do all these things when we're not able to do that. And all they want is 5 things. I love seeing the masculine, feminine perspective. Yeah, that's us for sure. And it's so funny how compatible we are when we think differently on so many things. Hey, cousin, how are you? You're a serial dater. Oh my gosh, cuz we got to figure that out. But again, if you're a serial dater because you just want to date, that's one thing. It's just when people are a serial dater and they say that they're looking for a seriously committed relationship, but you ain't dating nobody long enough to find out because you always thinking that you're missing something. That's what I have an issue from or with. Let me see. Oh, Nikki said exactly. Just, you know, I just think y'all be laughing at me. I know y'all think I'm crazy. More like a multiple serial dater that date like a bag of Lay's potato chips. What does that mean? You can't just have one? Oh my God. Again, but as long as the people you know who you're dating know. So I think you should be honest about that in dating, not necessarily on a first date. Like if you just dating somebody one time and moving on and dating, but if you date somebody multiple times, you go on 2 or 3 dates, make sure you let them know because most women are looking for a committed relationship. They are wanting to be that one eventually, and they don't want to waste their time just dating and dating. Now, not all women, because some women have that same mindset. And again, to each is their own, that you're cool with that, but just being honest, because some women after 3 dates, they think y'all in a relationship.
Hey, Jeff, we got to get together when the Longhorns and the Bulldogs play this year. All right. Since we finally coming to the SEC now, we gotta get together and watch that game together, bro.
Oh my goodness. Y'all need to discuss that offline. We having a serious conversation. Not really, just joking. But yeah, it's just about being honest. Let's see. I'm in recovery now, cousins. I got about 5 now. It was 15 work in progress. Really? So this is, don't be like Jeff, y'all. Don't be like Jeff. Ain't no way in the world we should be juggling 15 folks. And I know them folks ain't no. And that's how stuff happens. Cook well, don't spend us into the poorhouse, believe in God. And where is our list as women are like spaghetti. Right. Right. And that's the thing. Nobody, even if you think that they're checking all those boxes, they might be checking those boxes today, but maybe they're not capable of checking those boxes next week. And my thing is, when it comes to like the looks and money and all that stuff, I want somebody who is ambitious. I want somebody who's a go-getter, who has a career, who has a business that wants it. But I'm not going to put a dollar amount on how much they make, because that's not always in their control, especially if you're dating an entrepreneur, or, you know, even somebody who's corporate. Businesses are open one day and close the next. It's about their mindset. And I just think as women, we put too much into the dollar amounts and what the professions are, and none of that is promised to us. So it's just having that ambition, having that drive. That is what matters. Is this man going to keep going even when the times are hard? And being willing to build with somebody. You know, you don't want to have to depend on that person to bring everything to the table. Be willing to build, because we do live in a different day and age. Men aren't always able to be the sole providers of the household. I mean, some are, and that's great. But if you are looking for a man to be a sole provider, also looking at what it is you're wanting him to provide. What kind of lifestyle? Are you okay with a more modest lifestyle? If, you know, he can't afford that 5-bedroom, 4,000 square foot home, you know, are you okay with a more modest lifestyle so that you could stay home? Those are all the things that we have to think about, because I think so many times as women, we put so much on the men and we don't really think about what is it that we're bringing to the table for him. Are we providing him that support to do all the things that we're wanting him to do? Thank you, Odom's Homestead. Now, I know that one was for me because I'm the only one who's been talking for the past 30 minutes. Seriously, though, the issue is that I've met too many women that only want to defend themselves instead of listen when I express my concerns. Well,
yeah, that's
one
real.
Thing too about me. I do keep it real with women when it comes to that. I know that people always, you know, want to put this on men. Men are supposed to be strong. Karate man bleed on the inside. Men don't like to discuss feelings. But I think that stuff has happened because men have not been allowed to express themselves. Men have feelings just like we have feelings. And as women, we need to be able to create that soft place to fall. We need to be able to create that safe space for them to be able to be vulnerable and not think that only our feelings count and that we're just supposed to constantly tell them how we feel and then turn on the waterworks and all that kind of stuff, because they do have feelings. But a lot of times the reason why they don't express their feelings is because they don't feel heard and they don't feel like their feelings are being considered as valid. And so they just learn to keep it all in. And what happens with a lot of men, then that's what results into the heart attacks and the strokes and all that kind of stuff, because it's not healthy to keep it all in. And so we have to learn to listen. And even when the things that they're expressing has something to do with us, receive that. We all have opportunities for growth. None of us are perfect. Have those conversations. It's a give and take. You know, like when I even talk about holidays, I don't know where it was written that holidays like Valentine's Day and wedding anniversaries are just about the women. No, we both got married on that day. It's our anniversary. It's Valentine's Day. That's for both of us if you celebrate those kind of things. Well, but I do feel like men get the short end of the stick sometimes.
Kind of like what is being said there. When men share their emotional thing, or we're trying to share different stuff, like what Jeff was talking about. We share things, or we say, hey, this is my issue I have. We're looked at as weak. We're looked at as, not really a man. You know, men go through things too. And, you know, I kind of how I kind of applaud some of the way things are happening now, especially on the so everybody's kind of more aware of mental health issues and things like that. Understand that men deal with stuff too. You know, it's a lot more stuff on us than what it used to be. You know, you keep everything, supposed to keep everything bottled up and, you know, hermetically sealed box inside where vapor and hope can't escape. And even on your death day, your family don't know you as well as they should because you keep everything bottled up.
Mm-hmm.
But now we know that's not a good thing, a good place for men to be. Men need to be able to be open and stuff. And then when something happens, don't use it against me. It should be in a relationship. If we have no argument or disagreement with something, that shouldn't turn on me and be used against me. That's why men still, to this day, a lot of men have trouble opening up and being vulnerable in those situations.
Yeah. And then we also have to understand that men express themselves in a different way. Like with women, usually something happens and we're just immediately, well, this is how I feel and this is why I feel this way and it hurt my feelings. Sometimes men need a little longer time to process. And what I learned with Wallace, because I am completely fine with him expressing his feelings, I want him to be able to be vulnerable with me. I don't care how he's feeling, whether he's sad, whatever, if he got to cry, whatever he got to do is cool with me. I don't have any problems with that.
Cry. But I don't cry.
Whatever, you a crybaby.
I'm real with mine.
Yeah, but that's the funny thing. You are a crybaby, but if you're being a crybaby, it ain't got nothing to do with you. It'll be about something else, some poor old soul that's whatever.
Don't go and give him. Oh, okay.
But one thing I've learned with Wallace, and I can't say all men, I do have to give him his time. I know Wallace very well. I can detect when something's bothering him. I can detect, if he's angry, if he's sad, feeling some kind of way. Like I know him. And so whenever I notice something might be a little bit off with him, I'm going to ask because I want him to know that I notice and I want him to know that I care. But rarely is he going to let me know what's going on with him the first time I asked, the second time I asked. And so I used to have a bad habit of just like hounding him because you're lying to me. I know there's something wrong with you, but because he wasn't really comfortable sharing his feelings at first, he had to process it. And I guess I don't know, he can tell you what the deal is, but he don't always be ready to talk about it. But what we came up with an agreement was, I'm going to ask you twice. If you don't want to talk about it with me in those 2 times that
twice
I asked
was her part. I said once, but yes.
Yeah, no, twice. I said, but because that's just me. So I'm going to ask you twice. If you don't want to share with me what's bothering you in those 2 times, that's fine. I'm going to quit asking you because I don't want to make whatever you're dealing with worse by continuing to nag you and hound you. But I just need you to know that you can still come to me whenever you're ready. Because I quit asking you, it's not because I don't care. And he appreciates that. And it happens whenever. I'll ask him and he'll say nothing and I'm not believing in nothing. And I'll even say, I'm asking you the second time, what's wrong? Because you've been acting funny for a couple of hours. And then he'll finally end up telling me, can he change a tire? Are we lost again? Can you cook, sir? Does he use all the tools he's collecting? Are you crying? Now that's who's funny right there.
Is, yeah.
That's who is funny.
That's pretty good.
Miss Christine gonna throw some out there for us. But what did this mean? J3 said, "Bro, don't fall for that." What do you mean? That S is just smile. Oh my gosh. I don't feel like that. That's not how I received it, J3. That's not how I received it. But that's the thing. We have to give men time to process, but let them know that they have a safe place to, share their feelings about whatever it is. But it's going to be in their time and badgering them and nagging them about it. I mean, we know that's the age-old story. Men don't want to be nagged about anything. They don't want to be asked anything more than once or twice. Just period. And that's the thing too. Wallace is really good with like the honeydews and keeping up on stuff. It's just once in a while he drags his feet on some like odd, weird stuff. And I don't know why, but I always try to put a couple of days in between even asking about it. Cause it's just, I don't know, men just don't take very well to being asked about stuff.
Especially, like I say, it has to do with the emotional things. We're scared that stuff will get turned against us or we review this week, and that's why I say I'm glad the strides that have been made here lately, about mental health and things like that, and men being able to talk, having outlets, other men to talk to and things like that, and a safe space. Let's put it, it's probably the best way. The safe spaces are being provided now. And you don't have to go about and feel that, you can deal with stuff, have issues and things like that and still be a man. There's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of how it is. You just deal with stuff in life. Yeah,
but I just hate the fact, hey, Chrissy, how are you?
There may be probably less violence in the world, less domestic violence and things like that. If there were spaces where men and women both could express certain things and be able to be open and and get the help that they want instead of just being a tough guy. And this is what I want to do. And this is how I do it. And I don't care how anybody else feels. I think that leads to a lot of violence in the home and things like that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And that's what I say, too, for those of us who are raising sons. You know, it's just always been a thing with little boys. Don't cry. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up. You fine. What you crying about? You sound like a little girl. Quit screaming and crying like a little girl. We need to quit doing that because that's where that stuff starts.
But there are boundaries. There needs to be structure with that, though.
Whatever. That's where that stuff starts. Kids have to be taught to be able to express their emotions appropriately from a young age. Now, there's a difference between somebody crying when they're hurt and somebody just whining and crying because something didn't go their way. But as adults, we need to be able to know the difference and raise them accordingly. Boys hurt just like girls hurt. If he falls down and scrapes his knee, it's not hurting him any less than if a girl falls down and scrapes her knee. And if he is 3, 4, 5 years old and he's crying because his knee scraped, that's what crying is for. Like, that's how the body reacts. It's not fair. And to say things like that, you know, where you're actually using the other gender, like that stuff is very negative. You're acting like a little girl as if there's something wrong with little girls. Like, we just words. But
don't be crying because
so
Paw
much.
Patrol went off. Or
no, that's
SpongeBob,
why I said there's a difference, but that's a boy or a girl. That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, you want to teach boundaries. You don't want kids to be brats. You don't want them to be crybabies just crying over everything. But what I'm saying is, if it's a legitimate reason for a girl to cry, it's a legitimate reason for a boy to cry.
But I truly believe, just speaking from a man's perspective, when you can be vulnerable and you can share this stuff, that makes you a stronger man versus being the other way. They just become a stronger man because you're able to deal with your weakness. And then once you deal with your weakness, that doesn't do anything but reinforce making you stronger and being able to deal with those things. When you have to hide those things and you can't share things, this is just Wallace talking, Wallace spectacle theology, however you want to put it. That's just how I feel about it, those things make you stronger.
Yeah. I mean, because it's that it doesn't take any real strength to just ignore things and hold them in. The strength comes from the vulnerability and being willing to work through it. But again, as a partner, creating that safe place and not throwing things, you know, in somebody's face and they have to hear about it later, or, you know, making derogatory comments or whatever, because we all have a different measuring stick to what our threshold is for pain, whether it's emotional pain or physical pain. Just because you don't feel like it would be a big deal if that happened to you doesn't mean that it's not a big deal if it happens to them. And that's the thing too. I hate when people say stuff like, oh, well, it couldn't be me. See, I wouldn't be crying and complaining over nothing like that. Or you upset about that? That's so silly. You should never belittle anybody's feelings. Their feelings are valid, and everybody has a different threshold for what they can take. Even just would love my husband to come in and say, I'm really tired tonight. I think he was taught to disconnect through his family of origin and in the Army. Yeah. And men just feel like they always have to be at the top. You know, they have to, you know, they can't be tired. They can't be hurt. They can't be sick. They can't, you know, and it's just, they're human. Yeah. We are two different sexes, you know, but we're still humans. For the most part, we are the same. And that's what I mean. Something that can be painful for a woman is also going to be painful for a man. It's like, you know, and the threshold can still be different for emotional pain or physical pain, but it has nothing to do with whether you are a man or a woman. It's just, everybody is different. Everybody's different. So we've reached our hour and a half. Are we going to do the love seat?
Yeah, let's do the love seat.
Okay, so the love seat, for those of you who don't tune in on a regular basis to the hallway, we have this segment at the end of our little podcast show where we do what's called the love seat, because get it, the hallway and the love seat. So with the love seat, Wallace usually researches a couple of questions that he'll ask us as a couple for things that we can share with y'all. And then we open it up. If y'all have any questions that you would like to ask us, y'all can go ahead and put your questions in. But we just have questions prepared just in case. J3, you're right. I know you rock. You keep it all in. You keep it all in. But if y'all have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. But in the meantime, we'll have them. Okay, question for Stay. Should date nights, vacation, and all other quality time be placed solely on the man to plan? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My thing is, when it comes to stuff like that, whoever is going to do it, do it. You know, it's just, I feel like, again, I hate being so hard on women, but I do it because I love us and I want us to operate in excellence. And we have so much value, but somehow our minds got poisoned where we feel like we need to put so much stuff on men. Like, it is fine for you to plan the date night. It is fine for you to pay for the date night. It is fine for you to date your significant other. Yeah. Do you want to necessarily enter into the relationship where all you're doing is giving and giving? No, but neither does the other person. So that's why it's so important to be very cautious in who you're dating and who you're in a relationship with, because you want to be able to give them things and not feel bad about it. Wallace was so shocked that, you know, after we had gone on a few dates or whatever, I paid for a date. And that particular time, I had just told him I wanted to go to a place. And he's like, okay, I picked the place. I'm the one who mentioned it. So I paid. And then from then on, even till this day, which is, you know, a little different, we're married, but there's still certain things that most people would look at as a man to do that I do for him. On Valentine's Day, when he was still in corporate America, one Valentine's Day, I had stuff delivered to his office like all day. So that morning, breakfast was delivered. Then at one point during the day, somebody came up with some flowers and a teddy bear. Then I had lunch delivered to him. And that's stuff that people would look at. That's usually the man thing to do. And it's just, that's not what that is. And so it's like, whoever thinks of it, whoever wants to do it, then do that. Like,
one thing we try to do with couples, we help couples out and things like that. We challenge them, you know, each week, because we like to say we try to set one date night a week. That's how we do it. So this week, date night, I'll plan it. Next week, date night, she plans it. And that's just kind of how it goes. And that way it challenges everybody to stay engaged in a relationship. You don't become just so sentimentary and just stay at home or just do things like that, but you're challenging each other to do different stuff. And then guess what? When you see the love and the care that goes into planning those things, man, that's just so awesome to receive that, you know, and that's kind of what we do.
I love this comment right here. Where's it at? Dub J, you got a great woman, cousin. Good job. That's right.
I'm blessed. I am truly
right.
blessed. I am truly blessed, Jeff.
Wallace, she a keeper. She paid for a meal.
She's paid for a few meals. She's paid for some vacations, because that's one of the things that we did in the very beginning. I took care of all the bills and stuff, and she took care of vacations and our fun time. So,
and that's how it was. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Everybody handles their finances different. But when we first, you know, got married or whatever, Wallace made more money than I made. And Wallace was able to take care of everything on his own. So he was able to handle the mortgage, all the bills, and, you know, everything. And so, you know, because we got married older and we were both established, like I already had my own house, my own car, whatever. It was just like, okay, so how are we want to do the money? Well, Wallace didn't need my help. And so it was just like, instead of us breaking stuff up any kind of way, I was just responsible for everything else. You know what I mean? Like, Wallace paid for all of our necessities, the groceries, the mortgage, car notes, all of that stuff. And I got to pay for fun stuff. I bought our clothes. I paid for our dates. I paid for
That's how she got me out of Steve
vacation.
Harvey suits and everything.
Yes. And that's just what worked for us. It was like, he just did all that stuff and I got to pay for the fun stuff, because that's the kind of stuff I like. So that's what was cool too. I had traveled a little bit more than he did at that point, you know, as far as just like fun vacations and stuff. And so I kind of knew the places to go. I was into going to the outdoor jazz concerts and things like that. So, and I love clothes and, you know, things. So it fit. And so that's what we did. And so I just think that, you have to do what works for you, but don't always be so into these roles. You don't have to be so into these roles. What did he say? Thank God I hated those suits, cousin. High five. High five. I got him out of the Gators.
I was fly, bro.
Okay, we can always depend on Nisi Poo to bring a question. So she said, what's your favorite early memory / moment of each other? You can go first.
First early?
Yeah, moment. Early on in the relationship.
There's a couple. Probably, Jay, I'll tell you like this. Probably my favorite one of us is when we were really just dating, just starting out. And she had just got a job at the government, and she told me she was part of the coffee club. Kind of how all this stuff right here, we talk about asking these questions. And this was like our little first deal. And I was trying to figure out what the heck a coffee club was at your job and how things work. And we were up like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, just dying laughing. I'm interviewing her, asking who, somebody don't pay for the coffee. Do you just go slap coffee out the hands? Who's responsible for refilling? Who's responsible for collecting the money? And we was just up like, say, 3 o'clock in the morning, just cracking up,
he asked
crying,
me
laughing.
9 million questions about the coffee club. And every time I would feel like we was about to go to sleep, he'd be like, I got another question about the coffee club. So do you pay for the coffee in advance or
as you
coffee
use it? Yeah.
Oh my, and I know it sounds silly.
So who's responsible for making sure you get your amount of coffee? Or somebody
what
get
if
too
you
much?
didn't get enough coffee for the month? Is it endless coffee? It was crazy. But again, something that's like, you had to be there. Only we would know.
That's
how
one
funny
of
it was.
That's one of my favorite
but
memories
we
of us,
laughed
period. To
for
this day.
Hours.
Yeah, that's when
about
we were
that.
first. We were probably like maybe, I don't know, 2 months into our relationship.
Oh yeah, it was very early on because I started that job the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were very early in our relationship. One of my favorite early memories of us is probably around the same time we had I wonder if you even remember this, around the same time we had just really started dating and visiting with each other and everything. And I wasn't feeling well one night, which I hardly ever am not feeling well, but I wasn't feeling well one night and Wallace was going to come over, but I told him, I was like, I don't think you should come over. I really don't feel good. And he was like, and cause I wasn't comfortable enough yet with him to be around him. Like when I was sick, like I was still to the point where I wanted to look cute and whatever. And I didn't feel like getting myself together or anything. And so I was honest with him. I'm just like, I look a mess. I haven't even gotten dressed today. I just don't really want. She
never looks a mess. She never looks a mess.
Anyway, you're so, especially my hands. But anyway, he it's kind of stalkerish, but I thought it was cute. But he was out and about. Do you know what I'm going to do? You remember that day? He was out and about. And so then he calls me, and I don't even want to tell this because they're going to think you're a stalker. But he's like, well, I'm outside your house. And I'm like, why are you outside my house? I told you don't come here. And he was like, well, I just, I didn't feel right. And he said, so just in case you really feel bad or whatever, I just want you to know I'm right outside your house. He was like, I just went and got some chicken nuggets. I'm sitting outside your house eating some chicken nuggets. You don't have to let me in, but you just didn't sound like you feel good. And I just thought
want to be close
so
in case
sweet.
you needed something.
And he was like, yeah, I was already over this side of town, which he was over this side of town, dropping his son off and whatever. And he said, and I just didn't feel right just riding past your house and you didn't feel good. And so, of course, I eventually let him in. And even though in hindsight, it was kind of stalkery, I just thought it was
she let
so
me
sweet.
In there. She let me in
here
there.
in my heart, y'all. So, yeah, he was a little stalkery, but, but I just thought that was sweet.
Red Bull and great.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love that. It allowed your inner young person to free it. But yeah, because we are so silly. I prefer Red Bull and grape soda over coffee. Jeff, stop drinking that Red Bull immediately. That is not good for us at all. That's the natural hall charm. Yeah, I guess it was something because he did, but I just thought it was so sweet. I really did. This is sweet, but could go stalkerish. It could. But I had known him long enough. Yes, thank you, Jamie, where I didn't feel it was stalkerish. And I knew he would have left eventually. But I knew it was a gesture, but I was just like, oh, he is so sweet. Now, would he have driven over there and sat outside my house with his chicken nuggets had he not been on that side of town? I don't know. But he was on that side of town. And so he did it. And then he came in and he was like, well, what do you need? And whatever. And he took care of me. So I thought it was sweet. So do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I thought it was sweet. And he was like,
I had on a Steve Harvey suit and in my truck.
No, he didn't. He did not have on. If you mix Red Bull and alcohol, it is proven it can permanent damage. I know somebody who used to do Red Bulls and vodka like crazy. And yeah, we used to say it was like they was doing something else. But did you have a question that you wanted to put up there, babe, or have we had enough questions?
Yeah, I got one question.
Questions are usually crazy. What's your question?
How do you prefer to spend quality time with me?
Vacation.
Yeah.
I love when we go on vacation, and like this last vacation minus the hurricane where we had absolutely nothing planned.
Okay.
And we didn't we unplugged from the phones and the laptops and stuff. I love traveling with you. I think that's one of my favorite things. And it's not just the travel. I love traveling. And I think that's why it's so special to me because I've always traveled.
Mm-hmm.
And traveling with you is just that much better. So it's like me doing my favorite thing with my favorite person, because I've never had anybody that I love to travel with. I never even thought about it. I traveled a lot by myself. You know, I would be going places to meet up with my friends and different stuff. And it's just, yeah, so that's the quality time, just having that partner to do my favorite thing with. And it's just so easy, just effortless. Like, I love traveling with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
When we can just hang on the couch, watch TV and talk, and then late night when we're getting kind of sleepy, and we just sit there and just talk about our day, or just talk about us, and just spending that time.
Yeah, that's fun. He loves Wallace is a pillow talk person. Me, not so much, but I'm getting better. Wallace, and it's not that I'm not a pillow talk person. Wallace likes to.
She showed one of pillow talk during that hurricane.
No, I did. I was waking him up, but Wallace likes to talk as soon as I do the. And then it's like, babe. But he loves us. So I know when he says that, he is telling the truth. Let me see. Oh my, that was the exact alcohol mentioned. Yeah, Red Bull and vodka. Hey, Beverly. Oh, thank you.
Hey,
and thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Did you have any other questions, or is that it?
No, that's it for this.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So we have come to the end of Tuesday with the hallway. For those of you who weren't on with me yesterday, we're switching up things a little bit. I am not going to be doing Thirsty Thursdays anymore. I'm not doing Thirsty Thursday anymore. It's just going to be Mindset Monday and Tuesday with the hallway, because my analytics are showing that the Lifer Tribe is not really into the Thirsty Thursday and all the business tips, but I'm here for it. If y'all have questions, if there's anything you want me to discuss, but the analytics show that when I'm talking about LLCs and branding your business, y'all ain't really rocking with y'all, girl. Y'all love when we do the couples talk and the mindset thing, but I am tossing around, and I'm going to be putting a poll on my channel. I took a brief poll during my live yesterday to see if y'all are interested in like a Saturday morning thing, because Wallace thought it would be a good idea for me to do a Saturday morning show. And so I'm working on some things with my team, as far as I'm doing like a soul search Saturday, like they have the Soul Sundays with Oprah. And so we're going to just be talking, that will be geared more towards just women, and especially women of a certain age, and just the things that we go through. So I'll be putting a poll on, but we can do like yesterday, if y'all would be interested in a Saturday morning, just so I can get an idea of if I should be working on it. Put a 1 in the chat, just so I will have an idea. I didn't get to read. This was a great, A good live. We'll be dealing with grief. A good live will be dealing with grief as a couple. Wow. And the thing is, we have dealt with grief as a couple early on in our relationship. So we can definitely do that. That's kind of like the very beginning of our relationship was dealing with grief. So yeah, love y'all, cousins. Dub J, holla at me. Love you too, cuz. Love you too. Okay, so I got a 1 from Miss Christine. So yeah, because I didn't know when Wallace told me to do Saturday morning. I'm like, I don't know if people really feel like getting on YouTube Saturday. They have their Saturdays planned. It would probably be like 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Central. I'm not going to promise to do anything earlier than 9 o'clock my time. But okay, 1 from Lacey, 1 from Jamia. And so yeah, just talking about women, and especially as we're entering into the second part of our life, because that's my passion, you know, for women headed into this. The second part. Can I come on sometimes? You always just want to be on here. You just want all up in the video. Yeah, you can come on sometimes, babe. You can come on. No, it's not good. No Diddy. No Diddy. No, but yeah, so that's something I'm kicking around to probably start maybe in September, because I figure, you know, once summer's over and people are back acclimated to their regular life and weather starts changing. So yeah, be looking out for Soul Search Saturdays with Stay. I think that would be a good thing. Oh, good. Thank you. Weekend days or family time, but that sounds wonderful. Especially if it's early. Yeah. And that's why I definitely want to do it early. So again, probably 9 o'clock Central time, 10 o'clock. And then it may not always be a live. Again, I'm working out the kinks, because sometimes it might just be pre-recorded content, because we have a lot going on the weekends as well. But Wallace just thought it would be a good idea. So I definitely always, I think 8 would probably be the best time. Hey, I'm sleepy. because I'm up early every morning. But again, we're still working out the kinks. So yeah, but anyway, guys, I appreciate you so much. You all are always so much fun. I love the interaction. And so we will be back, or I'll be back on Monday. And then of course, still dropping that other content. If you haven't already checked out the vlogs from the travel and the hurricane, please go ahead and check out the vlogs. I think they're pretty entertaining. Some of my better editing work, because it was a lot to edit, but there's actually some footage of the storm from our vantage point. And then before you leave today, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up on your way out. It really helps your girl in the algorithm. And we are headed to on the road to 1K. I'm at about 750. So headed to the 1K. Let me see. Oh, was that for Lux? Yeah, Lux is so cute. Thank you, Jamie. Let's see. Premieres would up your hours too. And the algorithm, as you know, so great idea. Doggo. Yeah. I like doing premieres too, because I love interacting with y'all. So I will keep you updated on what's going on. So
appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, J3. Thank you so much. But I love each and every one of you to bits and pieces.
Thank all of you.
Yes, yes, yes. Always be kind, y'all, and love one another. But don't forget to live your life. LYFE. Love yourself first explicitly. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Bye. See you guys in the hallway.
Living like a gangster. Hey, hey. 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 Love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dream. Living like a gangster. Hey, hey. Living like a gangster. Hey, hey. Living like a gangster.